it's Liz from the Adventures of Island Girl, coming at you with a new edition of Ask an Island Girl. This week's question came from a couple different people, so I think and I just did a podcast on it. My dogs are joining us today. I did a podcast where they asked me the same question, so I feel like the universe is talking to me and telling me that this is information that people want to know. The question generally is, what factors did I consider, or should someone consider when making a decision about which island to move to? And for myself, I'd like to say that I engaged in some lengthy analytical study before I made a decision to move to Bonaire, but I didn't. I got off the plane the first time and I just fell in love with the island, and it became an obsession I couldn't shake. And so I moved here. I didn't really think about any of the things that I'm going to tell you are important to think about. But it all worked out, because it always works out. So if I were going to do it again, if I were deciding that I was going to move again off the island, which maybe I will, maybe I won't, but before I made any final decisions, these are the three things I would consider if where I was going to be another island. Number one, airfare. How many airlines service the island, and how much is the average ticket to get off the island and then back on? I have experience living on this island, and I can tell you that airfare is super expensive to get back to the U.S. It's actually cheaper to go to Amsterdam than it is for me to come to Miami. Ironic, right? But that's a really important one, because you will want to get off your island. You will want to go home and see friends. You will want to go home and see family. And while I assume airfare is expensive to all islands, there are some places like Aruba, which is just 2 islands over, where you can get to Miami for, $400 round trip. Not quite the same price from Bonaire. It's more like $800 or $900 from here in Miami. So who would think there would be such a difference? But Aruba has a much bigger airlift schedule, and as such has much more competitive pricing. So airfare, that's number one. Number two, what activities are available on the island that you're considering? Are they activities you want to do? Are they activities you like to do? If you're thinking about moving to Bonaire, and I address this in the podcast as well, which there's a link, I'll put a link right here, or at least tell you the name, and you can find the podcast. Things to do here all involve outdoor sporty stuff and the water. Windsurfing, kite surfing, and scuba diving. So if those 3 things aren't in your list of things you like to do, you're probably going to be kind of bored here. So I think that you have to figure out what's most important to you and what you like to do the most, and then figure out if those activities are available on the island you want to live on. Because if you move to an island and there's nothing you like to do there, you're going to go crazy a lot faster and get rock fever and want to leave. And the third, which is pretty important, although I never really gave it much thought, is what's the official language of the island? On Bonaire, it's Dutch. Clearly, I'm not Dutch, nor do I speak Dutch. I've tried. I've taken lessons. I spent time in language school in Amsterdam. I've tried. I can read it okay, but I can't speak it very well. Ik spreek een beetje Nederlands. But, it is what it is. But it's made my life a little bit more challenging than if I had chosen an island where English was the official language and everything was conducted in English. It's not impossible, it's just difficult. And I think if you choose to move to an island where English is not, if you are American and you speak English and you don't speak a fluent second language, and you pick an island where a language you don't speak is the official language, you will face some additional hurdles than you would if you move to an island where English is the official language. Or perhaps this is a Spanish-speaking island and you're fluent in Spanish, then that's great. But that's something I would take into consideration if and when I decide that I want to move to another island. I might keep mugs from Miami. I'm addicted to Starbucks mugs. I collect them. It's the one thing I make an exception to in my minimalist lifestyle habits. So those are the 3 things I would consider before you make a move or choose your final destination. Of course, there's always a chance that you're just going to fall in love with an island, and that's where you're going to want to go, and to hell with all the other things. But if you are looking for an analytical, reasoned approach to how to pick an island, airfare, activities available, and what's the official language are the 3 things that I would consider. I hope you found this helpful, and that it helps you in your decisions, and we'll see you next time with a new question. Thanks, Bula. Couldn't get through that without a dog barking. Have a good one.